Hey there, I'm Lee from Play Guitar Academy. I help frustrated guitar players get back to getting better at the guitar. Today I've got 3 examples for you in situations that you'd find yourself in where you'd have to make fills that go between chords. This is the blues in A that we were starting before. We start off with a stab right away on the quarter note. Bam. And that is an A7, just your basic A7 chord, the one that looks like an E7 at the 5th fret. And if you take a look at that measure, we have 3 quarter notes, the first one being the chord, and then we have 2 more quarter notes after that, and then 2/8. Extremely simple, nothing fancy. We have the chord, then we have 8th, which is the high note on pattern 1 of the minor pentatonic. So we outlined the root note. We went above it with a little bend, back to it, below it, and then back to it. So already we're surrounding strong notes. There it is. So we're doing a little bluesy. We're going to take the 7th fret. We're going to bend up, release, and then come back to the 5th fret. And then we're going to do, I'm going to pick with my 3rd finger the high strings at the 5th fret, and then the 7th fret. 3 in a row. And then, so we've targeted the root note, the tonic note in the first measure. We targeted it again, just an octave down in the second measure. Now we have a rest. So we're going up the minor pentatonic scale. Now look what I've done there. So we have 7 on the D string, 5 on the G string, 7 on the G string, back to 5. So we're kind of bouncing back and forth between 7 and 5. That's setting up the 6th fret, okay? Now I decided for that moment, I'm not gonna play in the minor pentatonic. I'm gonna outline the actual chord that's being played. I know it's going to work. Why? Because the chord that's being played is an A7 chord, and that's the 3rd. That's a very strong note in the chord. The 5 and then the 5, the 2 5th frets in the A minor pentatonic, right there with the 1st finger. Okay, so we've got... Let's look at the 4th measure. So we have 8, which is the high note of the minor pentatonic, pattern 1. 5 is the tonic. 8 is on the B string is the G, which is the flat 7. Back up to the tonic, and then we hit the final chord. And so we have a 0 on the D string, a 5 on the G string, and a 7, which is not in the minor pentatonic scale. This is not even a full D7 chord. It's just some notes from it. We have the 3rd, which is the F sharp, which is the 7th fret. And then we have the flat 7th, which is the C note, which is on the 5th fret of the G string. And then open D, which is the root of that chord. So we're implying a full D7th chord, even though we're not playing all of the notes in it. What do we got next? This is something that you find more in a rock setting, a classic rock. So if we look at the first one, I know I'm in the key of A. It goes A to a D. So that's the first thing I need to know, what key I'm in. Right? I need to know what chords I'm playing and what scale works over those. So A to D, this is a rock song, so the major pentatonic is going to work for this. We don't have the D in it, just like we did in the last section, but we do have the 3rd and the 5th. We do have that F sharp for the D chord there, so we could target. And the 5th. And I actually targeted the 5th, which is that for the measure, I would go 2, 2, 4, 2, 2, 4, and then 2 on the G string. Go to the 2nd measure. We start on 2, and then we have 4, 2, and then 4 on the D string. That's the 3rd of a D, the last measure. 2, 4 on the D string. That's E, F sharp, and then we end up with an A, 2nd fret. Now we're going to use our 3rd finger on the 4th fret and slide it up to the 6th fret. So we're targeting chord notes. What does this look like? An A chord. So when we're in the major pentatonic, we slide up to the 5th position and we outline with 2 notes the A major chord. So we're still in A major. We haven't made it. Now we're going back to, when we slide back, we go from the outlining the A chord, we go back to a B, A, F sharp. F sharp being the 3rd of D, and that's the chord that we're looking for. Let's take a look at our 3rd example. And this is in the key of G, and we're going to go to a C chord. So these kind of songs, strummy kind of songs where you want to fill up space and you want to move from one chord to the next. So we have okay, so let's pick this one apart. So we start off with a G note. We're kind of splitting apart a G chord, and then we pull the middle strings, the D, G, and B string open. That gives us our G chord just broken apart. So we have bass line and then chord. Now I'm going to use the scale with a pedal tone. So I'm starting on a G. This is going to be on the D string at the 5th fret. And then I play the open G string, 2 of the same notes, 2 Gs. Then I'm going to move this one back a fret. That's the F sharp, that's the major 7 to the 6th. And then the open D string. So we're just going down the G major scale with a pedal, a high pedal tone with the open G string. So in a G chord, we have a G, a B, and a D. That's our main tonal cluster. And then we move to our C chord. We have a C, E, and a G. So those are the notes we want to get to. Okay, so that's just basically staying in G. Then we have another G chord where we pull that. Now we're moving. Now we're going somewhere. We have an A to a B, so that's open A string to the 2nd fret. Now we could have gone straight to the C note, which is the root of our next chord. That would have been fine. It's pretty common though. You hear that, right? You hear that in a lot of bouncy C styles. To stay away from that, I went past it and then came back. So we have open 2nd fret. I slid up to 5. So I'm surrounding the C note when I get to C major. And then we did some more of the G major scale over the C. So I've done some dyads. I'm taking a smaller harmony. So in the key of G, we have here's a B. This is actually from the arpeggio, the G major arpeggio. So I'm setting that G up ahead of time. Even though I'm playing over C, I'm playing some G arpeggio notes that are leading my ear back to the G. And then I play the C and A. It's almost like an A minor dyad. Open strings. So it's like G, A minor, G. That A minor's passing in between two arpeggios, two places where arpeggios lay for the G chord. And then I hit the E note on the D string that temporarily sets up the open D for the G string. First measure, we're just kind of outlining the G. Second measure, we're moving towards the C. We're surrounding that new note for the new chord, 2 to 5 to C. The third measure, we're just kind of over the C. The fourth, we're using some dyads, setting up that G chord that's coming, giving some of that G sound, you know, hey, something's about to happen here. And then finishing off going from the second fret to the open string, where that open string is the note we're targeting, the D. That's the fifth of the chord of a G triad. Okay? Hey there, thanks a lot for watching my videos. I hope you got a lot out of it. Hope you learned a whole bunch about connecting chords with your lead lines. I have a free gift for you, and that's over at PlayGuitarAcademy.com/fills. And that's basically the tabs for all the 3 examples that I had for you this week. Thanks so much again. Please like and subscribe, and check out the other videos in this series.